In this video, I want to talk about forgive and reflect. The world taught you to forgive and forget, or the world taught you to forgive but never forget. So what I'm teaching you is forgive and reflect. Now, why is this important? Because during this lifetime, you will encounter dangerous people. I'm not talking about endangered people. Endangered people are people that need help. And endangered people are in danger, so you need to be careful how you relate to them. But they are endangered people, they're not evil. They're not out there to harm anyone. Those are just endangered folks, okay? Look, when you're dealing with endangered people, you can keep your safe distance, you can pray on their behalf, and if the Holy Spirit leads you, you can act on their behalf and things will work out. But when you're dealing with dangerous people, you need to do something completely different. You need to do what Christ told you to do. That is to shake the dust off your feet and continue to walk by faith. So you need to understand that there's a big difference between someone that's endangered and someone that's dangerous. Now, a lot of Babylon churches misuse what Christ said. Pray for those that despitefully use you, love your enemies, turn the other cheek. They don't teach the context that Christ meant. I've already spoken a lot about turning the other cheek, what it really means. You can check my other videos about it, so I'm not going to repeat all of it. But I want to highlight the following. Christ was not a dummy. Christ was not foolish. Christ was not stupid. Christ had no mental defects. Christ knew exactly what he was doing. It goes like this. When you're dealing with someone that's dangerous, you need to see them for what they are, and you need to keep them out. Out of what? Out of your what we call life, out of our affairs. You need to keep them out. Not out of pride that you made a decision and others have to take your decision. That's what the world is teaching you. I'm teaching you to align your will with reality. Your will must align with reality. Okay? So align your will with reality. And that implies when someone is dangerous, based on reality, you decide, okay, this individual needs to be kept out. Straight up. And one thing you need to look out for. You have dangerous people. They are dangerous because they don't regard you nor anyone else. They just want to be relieved all the time. When they discard you, they discard you because you don't benefit their expectations. It can be that they use you as a supply to feel good about themselves, but now they have other people that give them more supplies, so now they see you as worthless. Or it can be that you don't put up with their negative expectations, so now they're upset and they want someone that does give in to their expectations. Whatever it is, they discarded you because you didn't meet their expectations. And they don't care whether expectations were right or not. It's all about their expectations. You have people like this, when they discard you and quote unquote move on with other people, it's not really moving on, but they continue with other people. You have them that will face backlash. They thought the new supply is going to give them what they wanted, but the new supply disappointed them, or they end up in a dangerous situation. Some of such people, when they think, they'll realize that, oh dear, I'm in this bad situation now, I can't get myself out of it, I need to be bailed out. So they will look for an escape from the bad situation. And then they will look on all the people of good quality that they've discarded, and they will check which one of them has an access point for them to return. Why they're returning? Is it because they've repented? Is it because they want things to be better? Is it because they want to forfeit their negative ways? Is it because they want to comply with justice? No, they just want an escape from the bad situation they brought themselves in by their own negativity. They just want to be built out, that's all. So you have such folks that will reach out to you when they are in need. They will provoke your natural empathy to help them. And natural empathy is a good thing. But I've explained before, you need to be Christ-centered with your empathy and your sympathy. Yes, you have empathy towards other human beings. That's how it should be. Just realize that there are dangerous people out there that will abuse your empathy to endanger you. so that they can relieve themselves. You have such folks. So when you're dealing with such folks, know what you're dealing with. That's why I'm telling you to forgive and reflect. Okay, I'm going to give an example now because I'm not just going to say something and you have to figure out what I've said. I'm going to give explanations. Let's say you're married. Your name's Joanna. You're married to Mark. You have two beautiful daughters. The daughters are in the teenage years. They're growing. You have a happy family life. One day your husband um, goes away. He doesn't come home. So you report him missing. But then you find out a week later that he's with another woman, a younger woman, a woman that's 21. And now you're devastated. Now you confront him because you think, hold on a minute, we have a family together. We made marriage vows 25 years ago. I mean, what's going on here? Why are you discarding me like this? What did I do? And the guy doesn't want to talk about it. He doesn't even want to talk. He just wants you out of the picture. And he files for divorce. He wants you out. Okay, so you and your daughters are shocked. Your daughters have to go to therapy because it's quite shocking that their father just abandons them like this. 5 years later, your daughters are one is 18, the other is 21 now. Now, this ex of yours, your ex-husband, is reaching out to your daughters. He wants to restore the relationship. But then, your oldest daughter tells you, Mom, I don't trust this. 5 years ago, unless it's 6 years ago, that acted strange. I noticed it, but I didn't say anything because, well, it wasn't polite for me as a teenager to mind my parents' business. So that's how you raised me. So based on how you raised me, I didn't say anything, but I noticed that acted strange, as if he didn't have any interest in us. A year later, he disappeared. He didn't care what it did to us. He didn't even appear on his job. I mean, he disregarded everyone. He went to this young chick, all right? And what happens now? That young chick, he was beating her over and over again, so she filed a report against him. So now he's facing jail time for domestic violence. So now he comes to reach out for us. He didn't tell us about the domestic violence charge he's facing, that he may go to jail. And he doesn't tell us that it didn't work out with his girlfriend. Why is he reaching out to us, Mom? It's not because he wants to work things out. It's not because he has repented. It's not because he wants to give up the darkness. It's not because he wants to heal, nor that he wants any good thing. He just wants to exploit us. I'm now working a part-time job and I earn good money. Despite everything I went through, though him abandoning us, I turned out well. And now he found out that I graduated college. I have a job. Things are going well with me. I have a support group of friends. Now he wants to come back. Why? Because he needs to pay his legal fees. And he doesn't have any money because he's without a job. The mother tried to rationalize it, but then the daughter told him, Mom, be real. Reflect back on the time he was discarding us. Did he care how we felt? Where was his empathy? Where was his sympathy? Where was his humanity towards us? Where was his care for how we were feeling? We were not strangers. We were his family. The family he worked and provided for. He discards us as filthy trash. And now he wants to come back? Come on now, Mom. You can't fall for this. And the mother thought, let's say you're Joanna, you think about it and you realize, hold on a minute, your daughter's telling the truth. This man is a predator. He just wants to exploit us. And you do your own research and you figure out that what your daughter told you is all true. And then you reflect back again and you realize, hold on a minute. Why is he reaching out to my daughters and not reaching out to me? I was his wife. Why didn't he reach out to me? But why does he reach out to my daughters? It's because he knows that you probably would see through his BS and that you would say, not going to happen. Now, this was a very obvious situation that something was wrong. You may have less obvious situations. You may have a parent that did the basic things like feeding you, teaching you how to use the toilet, teaching you how to talk to other people, to be polite. You may have a parent that did the basic things that the community required of them, but they were kind of absent because they didn't want to be involved with you. Even though you are their offspring and you are their asset for the future, they didn't want to see it like this. They were so focused on themselves and they didn't want to seek any help for the issues they've developed. So, covertly, they were blaming you for their issues. Because it wasn't that obvious, because they never really smacked you physically, you didn't think it was abuse what they were doing. But now that you're older, you realize, hold on a minute. How come that I've graduated college, but my parents were not enthusiastic? How come that I achieved all of these other things, but my parents never really rejoiced for me? They always are talking about what they went through, or they also have to make it about them, or they always, when I tell them about something that I'm excited about, they always begin to redirect the conversation to some mistake I made in the past, or to something they considered embarrassing about me. Now you begin to realize, hold on a minute, it's not the way you relate to people, especially not your own children. Let's say now you lower contact with your parents and eventually break all contact with them. Now you have relatives that come to you and say, John, why are you treating your parents like this? They did so much for you. And then you tell your relatives, hold on a minute. You know very well how my parents treated me. I didn't notice it. You noticed it, but you didn't protect me against them. Neither did you hold them accountable. Why didn't you hold my parents accountable when I was growing up? And then the relatives say, yeah, we didn't want to intervene. We wanted to mind our own business. Oh, okay, hold on a minute. So I'm one of your relatives. I was vulnerable. I couldn't know any better. My parents were out of line. You guys met them regularly. But you never addressed them how they were treating me, even though I'm a relative of yours. But you do expect me to make you guys feel good. So I'm only here to make you guys feel good. But when I need help, when I really need you guys are not around. Come on now. What is this? In this case, you have the predators that didn't want to face themselves, your parents, and then but your parents didn't come to you because you would put them in their place, so they began to complain about you to the enablers, and the enablers now, because they want to be left alone, came to you to force you to comply with the predators against your own well-being. The enablers don't care about you also, they just want to be left alone. So they wanted you to remain the target of your parents so that they won't have to put up with the contention of your parents. And they came with blackmail. They wanted to make you feel bad for making the right decision. I've given you two scenarios. In both scenarios, there were people that saw through the situation. In both situations, the individuals, they forgave the people, they forgave the predators, but because they forgave them, they also reflected and realized these people are dangerous, they shouldn't be around me, nor near me, nor involved with me in any shape or form. And in the second example, John also checked his relatives because he realized that the attitudes of his relatives were not right. If one of your own is out of line, you deal with it so that there's safety in your community. You're not going to enable danger, especially you're not going to enable victimization of those in your community, and at the same time expect the victim that you endangered by enabling the predator to honor you. So they don't want to be honorable by doing what's honorable, but they do want honor. Not going to happen. Forgiving someone does not automatically imply a reconciliation. There are people you cannot be reconciled with, ever. Why? First of all, because they do not want to obey Christ. They don't want to comply with justice. So if they don't want to comply with justice, it means that that their comfort is in unrighteousness. Their comfort is in injustice. So if someone has their comfort in injustice, that means that they will only draw you in their injustice at your expense to feel good about themselves. That's the only thing they would do. So you will forgive them because that's what Christ commands you to do. You forgive them so that you're not trapped by bitterness or by a pattern of relief seeking. So you forgive so that you are released. Forgiveness is about your safety, not about the offender, nor about the predator. You forgive so that you are safe, okay? And that implies that the dangerous party needs to be kept out unless he or she complies with justice and they're not dangerous anymore. Okay, that's how it ought to be. You forgive and reflect. You don't forgive and hold on, because that's not really forgiving. You don't forgive and forget because that's dangerous. You forgive and reflect. You are wise as a serpent. Let me give another example to you. Let's say that you have this guy from South Korea and he leaves South Korea and he goes to the UK. Or yes, I'm saying the UK. And in the UK, he applies for a job as a teacher for high school. His English is quite good, as if he's a native British speaker. So the people are at the high school are, whoa, they're overwhelmed by his good quality of English. They are very surprised. But then one of the employees of that school tells his boss, sir, I don't think that hiring Mr. Jung is going to be a good thing. Then the boss tells him, what are you talking about? And then the employee explains. This guy is from South Korea. The quality of English is quite low over there. Many people can't even pronounce English correctly. Very few South Koreans speak English the way he does. So with his talent, being from South Korea, they would offer him jobs everywhere. With his quality of English, being a South Korean native, they would carry him on both hands. He could get a job in the business world, in the legal system. I mean, come on. Why is he not in South Korea benefiting from his talent? Why did he come to Great Britain, where British English is a native language, to teach English here? Yes, we have English teachers to teach us grammar, but why is he in Britain to teach British, even though British is our native language? So that's not beneficial for your career. And then the boss realized, hold on a minute. What you're saying, indeed, it doesn't add up. And then the boss asked his nephew, who is good in computers, to do a background check on this June. And this nephew goes online on social media. He also goes on the dark web. He uses hack materials. And he figured out that this South Korean English teacher was really a scammer. He was not even a licensed teacher to begin with. His whole resume was based on thin air. He did speak good English, that is because he used to hang around business people. He worked as a cleaner at an international firm in South Korea, and that's where he learned to speak English that well. He was offered jobs as an English teacher, even though he wasn't licensed, and he took those jobs, but he didn't last for long. And this nephew also called people in South Korea, and he found out that this Mr. Jung was convicted for sexual assault. However, due to an error in the trial, he was released. The trial was dismissed. His case was dismissed. So he left South Korea because there were people upset with him that wanted to take revenge on him. So this guy, this Jung, was a predator that wanted to provoke sympathy, and he was using his talent to provoke sympathy from others, so that others would open themselves to him and let him in. He didn't even mind that he was lying to them, that his whole resume was a hoax. The moment they would let him in, do you think he would be grateful? He would make the best of it? No, he would do the same thing he did in South Korea, but worse. He learned from his mistake, not that he wanted to forfeit his mistakes, but he learned how to make the mistakes better without being caught. So if that school would have allowed Mr. Jung to teach English there, he would sexually molest many of the pupils. And he would use his charm to convince people that he's falsely accused. So this employee at that high school sensed something was wrong. He he did the right thing to tell his boss, please don't do this. And the boss, after finding out all of this by his nephew, made plain this June is not getting a job here. And he even reported this June to the authorities as a scammer and as a sex offender. Now, there are Babylon churches to tell you, no, 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 you shouldn't do that. He made mistakes in the past, but look at this. He wants to change. He wants to make the best of it. Be more compassionate. Be more Christ-like. That's what Babylon churches would tell you. But it's not Christ-like to endanger yourself. It's not Christ-like not to see danger when it's obvious. It's not Christ-like to forfeit your natural obligation to the community around you to contribute to the safety of that community. But Babylon churches brainwash many people, even many unbelievers, that it's a good thing to embrace a predator. Now you embrace someone that you can embrace a convert. You can embrace someone that's been delivered, but you will never embrace a predator. The only one that embraced predators was Christ himself at Calvary, at the cross, for their salvation. He did it. But what does Christ get in return? Does he get love, admiration, honor from the reprobate? Nope. Only more assaults. So if the reprobate despises and has contempt for Christ himself, what do you think he or she will do to you? So is it Christ-like to embrace the haters of Christ? Is it Christ-like to enable the enemies of Christ to take advantage of you? No. You forgive and reflect. That is what you ought to do. Not forgive and forget, not forgive and hold on, forgive and reflect. The reflection is an extension of your forgiveness. And forgiveness is about your safety. It's not about the predator. The predator can receive chances to be delivered. However, he must take responsibility for him or her being a predator and that they need to change. That's their responsibility. That's their part. You can't do it for them. Forgiveness is about your safety. So obey Christ. That's it for now. Agree with Christ and be at peace.